So much, Moige, for that update, and indeed a lot to expect from the agricultural front. Well, today being International Women's Day, in Kenya, women are on average paid 32% less than men. Of the small and medium-sized businesses in Kenya, women outnumber men in two sectors, that is human health and social work. Well, we want to look at some interesting numbers before we get into a discussion. Well, 90% of women in sub-Saharan region work in the informal sector, whereas 93% of businesses in the informal sector are actually owned by women. Let me give you an interesting statistic that has caught many worried about the trends. 1% of land owned by women, that is agricultural land, only 1% women can say they have full ownership to. And 22% of women in the manufacturing sector, this constitute the labor force in the country, whereas 14% of women are in the police service. And last but not least, 78.2%, that is the female literacy rate. And of course, this is data we've sourced from the Gender Equality Special Report. And right about now, I want us to get into an interesting discussion where we'll be taking stock of looking at the gains made, and we are delighted to be joined by two amazing ladies on this special day. Welcome, ladies. And the theme for International Women's Day 2022 is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. Right here with me in studio is Susie Wakabi. Thank you for making time for us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And we also have Mrs. Giovanni joining us on phone. And just picking out from these numbers and looking at the business sector, how would you say women in Kenya have fared if you look back in time?
Of course, it's always been the minority. We've been the minority against the men, but I think things are changing. Things have been changing through the years, and apparently today there's going to be a bigger leap in the change, and I think you'll all get an announcement later in the day or tomorrow regarding equal pay and all the rest that comes with it. From I believe from the ministry. It's from the ministry.
All right, that will be a landmark milestone indeed.
Yes.
And just giving us your perspective in terms of access to finance for women, are we making any headways? Are we seeing more women-led enterprises surviving past the 3-year mark for startups?
I haven't seen big progress in that. We are still struggling. I have been in the situation where I've looked for funds in the past 10 to 12 years of my career, and it's always such an uphill battle and continues to be. There's gaps in between, you know, there's very small scale fundraising and there's very large scale fundraising, and that in between part is never catered to. While there's a lot of promises for women and youth, funding programs, I actually haven't seen any that has quite benefited us a lot, and I think a lot needs to be done in that area.
All right. And we also have Mrs. Giovanni, founder of Go Places, with us. I don't know if she can hear me. Good morning. And
good morning.
Great to have you. We would have been able to join us here, but we just carrying on with the interview. And just share with us, what are you celebrating today as women in business?
Well, today we celebrate all women across the globe. I think women play a significant role. We are mothers, sisters, daughters, career women, running businesses day in, day out. And we as women, it's not just a 9-to-5 job, it's a 24-hour job, because everywhere you play a significant role, family-wise and business-wise. Yes, as Susie, my dear friend, put it, that yes, we as women go through a lot of challenges where financing in business is concerned. When we need a lot of support in the industry, we have to play an extra mile to make sure that we as women, we play a significant role today.
All right. And from where you sit, how have we performed when it comes to access to credit for women in Kenya and generally in East Africa?
Well, it's been a bit tough, but I think things are getting better now. We as women are speaking our voice. We're making a difference, and we are always, it is a battle, a challenge, But at least I think 2022 looks very promising, and we are here to stay.
All right.
And,
All right. I can see Okabi smiling to that point. Perhaps I'd like you to just make your quick point.
Absolutely. Women actually run the household, and that should be appreciated. As much as Nev says that there has been progress, yes, it has been a little, but it definitely has a long way to go. Especially like in the informal sector. I think 80% of trade is informal, and that needs to change as well, because a lot of those traders are women. So a lot needs to be done inside of the empowerment and access to funds.
All right. And speaking about access to funds, how do we make funding to be sustainable? We've seen over the years, we've had different funds being set up, the Women Enterprise Fund, and name them. But having a sustainability over time has proven to be a challenge. How do we navigate through this?
I feel like the organizations that do provide funds have to do more than just providing the funds. They have to hold hands with the women that they are funding in terms of, running the businesses correctly, having all your legalities right. A lot of people don't have strong business backgrounds. Running a business is not easy. So somebody to, while providing the funds, hold the entrepreneur's hand in running a business and making it successful.
All right. And Susie, still staying with you, one of the things that has made women-led enterprises successful is the aspect of mentorship. And perhaps, what would be your advice to the startups, the young and upcoming women that are trying to break into the business world?
I would say definitely look to seasoned entrepreneurs. I do get asked to be a mentor many times, but I'm not going to, sit with somebody all day, every day and mentor them. I have mentors of my own. I look to them and I watch them and see what they're doing and how they're doing it, even if we don't have hours on end to sit one-on-one and get the tidbits of wisdom from them. I look to them and I watch them closely and pick and choose what I can take from their successful journeys. So that's what I would say as a growing entrepreneur. Look to a seasoned entrepreneur and watch them close.
And to Mrs. Juani, I just also want to get your views on tips for women in business. How do you run a successful business?
Well, every day is a different day. From our organization being in the industry for 28 years and being still an upcoming entrepreneur in so many ways, it's a learning process, because when you own several group of companies, when you're maintaining the standard of consistency, quality and delivery, at the same time there's a lot of challenges that we face every day as women. It is not really an easy ride. Even today in the hospitality, the lifestyle industry and being a digital marketing agency, we as women have to work twice as hard. It's not been easy. But looking towards the young women coming up in the new businesses, we are here to mentor them, but at the same time look up to people who have not only succeeded but have gone through a lot of challenges but still came up looking and maintaining the standards of business at the same time. So for me as well, it's been a challenge.
Yeah.
But I'm there to always mentor anybody who's there reaching out to start a new business.
All right. And what would be your words of wisdom as well on tips for upcoming entrepreneurs?
Upcoming entrepreneurs, if you are starting out, please be sure that whatever business you're getting yourself into, that you actually really, really love the industry and what it is that you're trying to do, because passion is what's going to drive you for the most part for what you're doing. You are going to learn a lot of patience and a lot of perseverance, and hold on to that and let that grow as well, because business is not easy.
All right.
So yeah, so just be able to do what you love with a lot of passion, patience, perseverance.
All right. And in closing, are there some profitable business ideas that you could mention that those watching, those listening can consider tapping into?
Well, being a pioneer in the local beauty industry, I think the beauty industry is still growing by leaps and bounds. There's still a lot of space for all of us. I love to say that I created Kenya's first makeup brand, but since then, that many years ago, almost 10 years, there's been so many brands that have come up, and I love watching it. So yes, the beauty space. I think there's space in all the industries for us as women. I've met a lot of successful engineers in the IT space. So we can do it. We can do it all.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to bring this conversation to a close. And I don't know if you have less than a minute to just allow Mrs. Juan to also give her parting shot.
Absolutely. I have, that was really a good thing that what Susie said. I think passion makes a lot of difference, because when you're studying, you are doing practice. Maybe it's scary, but when you go out there, passion means everything. And whatever your heart and your passion tells you what to do, and that is what gives you the maintenance and perseverance. So when you are out there, you connect with what you want to do in life, but also at the same time make sure the strategic planning is done way before you start any kind of business. We are here to empower anybody and anybody reaching out to go places. We have now maintained the standard of internship if they need to be training in go places, and we can help them and give them recommendation letters in order to start their businesses or their careers. We're here to help them.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. And indeed, that has been Business Cafe. And thank you. And we also celebrate all the women in the newsroom here at Standard Media Group. Of course, happy International Women's Day also to my spouse back at home and my mother down in the county of Kisumu. Have a lovely day. My name is Abiagina.